Thank you for joining me. My name is Farrell, and this is Fathering Without a Father. Before we get into my thoughts for the day, I just want to take a moment and really welcome you with open arms. See, the way I see it is that, we as men, we don't get too many people welcoming us with open arms in a safe place where we can discuss hard things, tough subject matters. Well, that's what I want to do here. That's what I'm trying to do here. I want to open the conversation because you can't break cycles. You can't make change unless the conversation starts. And it has to start somewhere. So once again, welcome and thank you for joining me. I've been thinking a lot since I recorded the first episode. Not in a necessarily structured way. It's more like it just keeps showing up. Like I could be doing something just mundane, something normal. Like doing the dishes, cleaning up around the house, maybe driving. It could be a whole host of things. Even just being around the kids, being around my children for the evening. And something from that episode kind of stuck with me. It kind of sticks with me now. And it's something that I feel I need to discuss. See, in the first episode, I discussed a lot about absence and what that absence felt like. About not having a father, not having an example of what a husband, father, and really ultimately a man should be like. I didn't have that example. Perhaps you didn't either. So I didn't have something to look at and say, okay, that's how you're supposed to be. That was absent from my life. And it's all very true. And I know there's so many that can relate to that. But it's not the whole picture. So what do I mean by that? Well, what I really didn't talk about is what actually fills that space. Because just because there's absence doesn't mean that spot is empty. Sometimes it feels like a pressure. Just a deep pressure. Now, when I say that, I don't tend to think of myself as an angry person. I mean, maybe you'd have to ask my wife and children that, but I don't see it that way. Like, if you were to meet me, you probably wouldn't describe me that way. Because I like to laugh, I like to have fun. Just like so many of us. I'm not walking around snapping at people. I'm not walking around with my fists balled up, just ready to strike. I'm not losing control all the time. It's definitely not like that. But I've been noticing something. There are these moments, small moments, nothing dramatic. Heck, it never is, right? Where something inside of me just kind of kind of tightens. And it happens just so fast. It's not like I sit there and I think to myself like, oh, now I'm getting angry. It's more like my body already decided before I had time to catch up. My chest gets tight. My jaw sets. My teeth maybe clench. My tone changes, even when I'm trying my hardest to keep it calm. And the thing is, it's usually over fuck all. Or really at least nothing that should feel that big. And the hardest part to admit out loud is that it's almost always with my kids. Because it'll just be something normal, you know. Maybe it's a mess that's laying around longer than it should. Maybe it's being asked the same question over and over again. And that same question's being asked especially when I'm tired. It's the not listening. It's the pushing the boundaries. Maybe even not making eye contact. You know, it's really just the average kid stuff. Same stuff that I'm sure I did when I was younger. In fact, I know I did. But sometimes the way it lands in me, well, it's just not normal. It feels a lot bigger. And I could feel it rising. And when I say that, I don't mean exploding. I just mean rising. It feels like in that moment, I don't have any space. It feels like I have to do something with it immediately. So what do I usually do? Well, a lot of times I try to control it. I lower my voice. I slow everything down. I try to sound measured, calm, like I've got it all handled. And maybe on the outside, sometimes it looks like I've got it handled. It looks like I'm doing the right thing. Maybe sometimes it looks like I'm being patient, like I'm being a good dad. But the thing is, if I'm being completely honest, inside, there's turmoil, there's waves. It doesn't feel like I'm being a good dad. It doesn't feel like I'm being patient, like I've got it handled. It feels like I'm holding something back that I don't fully trust. And I've been sitting with that. Because, see, the thing is, I don't know if that's actually control. or if it's just fear. Because those two things can look exactly the same from the outside, can't they? Like, you can look calm and still be operating from a place of fear. Fear of, saying the wrong thing. Which I can tell you I've been guilty of that. Fear of going too far. Fear of becoming something you've spent your whole life trying not to become. And I think that's where a lot of this comes from. Not the anger itself, but more so, I think, what that anger really means. As I discussed before, I don't have clear memories of my father. And when I say that, I mean in like the clear memories that most people have, like their dad helping them ride a bike, working on a car, things like that. See, I may not have these memories, but I do know what was there. I know the kind of environment that existed before my mom left. What? Check that. Not left. Fled. I know enough to understand why she ran. And I know what that kind of energy does to a space. Even if you don't remember every detail, your body remembers something. So, I didn't grow up learning how to handle anger. No, I grew up learning what happens when it's not handled. And those two things are completely different. So, now I'm here and feeling something real. And I'm feeling it without a clear understanding of what I'm really supposed to do with it. There's no reference point. There's no moment where I can look back in my memory bank and say, okay, this right here, this is what my dad did when he felt like this. No, there's just me. And I'm expected, and I have to figure it out in real time. And honestly, that's where it gets uncomfortable. Because when you don't have a model, everything you do, every move you make, simply just feels like a guess. And then there's this thought that shows up sometimes. And I don't like it. But the fact is I can't pretend it's not there. What if this is in me? And when I say that, I don't mean it in the sense that I'm going to repeat the exact same actions that were displayed for me. No, I'm talking in a deeper way. Like the wiring, the way my body reacts, the way my emotions move. Something that got passed down whether I wanted it or not. And honestly, that thought right there changes how you move, changes how you deal with everything in life. Because now you're not just reacting to the moment. You're reacting to what you think that moment could turn into. And there's a big difference in those two things. So, what do you do then? Well, you overreact. Well, at least I do. I shouldn't say you do. So, the fact is I hold on to things longer than I probably should. I know that about me. I step away maybe when I should stay. I choose silence when maybe I should speak. And all while doing this, I tell myself I'm doing the right thing. That I'm being responsible. That really I'm protecting my children from something. But if I'm being honest, sometimes I think I'm just avoiding something that really I don't understand. Because here's what's been hitting me lately. You don't have to yell to create distance. You don't have to lose control, lose your mind, freak out, throw a scene to make a child feel disconnected from you. No, you can be calm. You could say the right words. You could stay physically in the room and still not fully be there. And you know what? Children feel that. They're so intuitive. They feel that. They see that. They recognize that. Even if they don't have the language for it, they can't express it eloquently like adults can. They can feel when you're closed off. They definitely can. And that realization, that one's been sitting with me. There are moments where I know I shut down instead of opening up. Moments where I walk away. And when I say walk away, I'm not wanting to give you the impression that like I'm turning my back on my children all the time. I'm gone away from them. That's not what I mean, because I spend all my time with them. No, when I say walk away, I'm talking walking away emotionally. It's where I choose to not fully engage. And it's not that I don't care. Definitely not. It's quite the opposite. And it's not because I don't love my children. No. My children are my priority every day. Really, it's because I don't trust what might come out if I let everything come up at once. And that right there is a hard fucking truth to sit with. So right now, I'm not trying to fix this. I don't have the tools to do it. I'm not trying to master it. I'm not trying to solve it or turn it into something clean. No. I'm trying to notice it. I'm trying my hardest to catch it earlier, to sit with it a little longer before reacting, to not immediately shut it down or push it away. And I don't know if that's the right way. I have no idea. I don't know if that's what this is supposed to look like. But the one thing I can assure you of, it's honest. It's what I'm doing. At the end of the day, if I don't look at this, if I don't try to understand it, even a little, then what am I doing? I'm just passing something forward. Maybe not in the way that I inherited it. Maybe it's not as obvious. But yeah, still there. And that's something I'm not okay with. So yeah, I'm still figuring it out. I'm still learning what anger actually looks like when it's not hidden or when it's out of control. I'm still trying to understand what it looks like to be present, even in those moments. I don't have answers. I don't have a system. I definitely don't have this handled. I just know me. I can't ignore it anymore. And if you're with me on this journey, I know you can't handle it anymore. And right now, all of this right here, this is where I am. Once again, you've been listening to Fathering Without a Father. This episode was written and hosted by me, Farrell. The episode was also produced by Chelsea and me, Farrell. Music is Silhouette by Pink Looks White. I'll see y'all soon.